For the past 8 years, I've been the caretaker of an old radio tower deep in the Appalachian wilderness. It's perched high on a ridge, surrounded by dense forest and an endless sea of mist that rolls in each night. My job is simple: keep the equipment running and monitor transmissions. The isolation? That's the real challenge. No neighbors, no towns nearby, just the static hum of the tower and the whispers of the forest. It began one autumn evening. The mist was especially thick, clinging to the tower like it was alive. I was making tea in the cramped kitchen of the cabin beneath the tower when I heard it, a soft knock at the window. My stomach sank. The cabin's only windows are 15 feet off the ground. I froze, listening. The knock came again, deliberate and rhythmic. When I finally gathered the courage to look, there was nothing but swirling mist. The forest was silent. Shaking it off as a trick of the wind, I went to bed, but sleep didn't come easy. The knocking returned the next night, and the night after that, always at the same time, just after midnight. Sometimes soft, almost polite. Other times, loud and insistent. I stopped looking, afraid of what I might see. One evening, while climbing the tower to fix a loose antenna, I saw something move through the mist below. At first I thought it was a deer, but it was too tall and too thin, its movements unnervingly smooth. It glided to the base of the tower and stopped just out of the light's reach. I stayed perfectly still, gripping the cold metal rail as it turned upward. Even through the fog, I felt its gaze, a cold, empty hunger. I descended as fast as I could, locking myself in the cabin. That night, the knocking came from the front door. The days that followed blurred into a nightmare. The mist grew thicker, muffling every sound. The tower's red warning lights began flickering erratically, casting fleeting shadows that didn't belong. The knocking spread to the walls, the floor, even the locked storage room. One night, I heard scratching from beneath the floorboards, followed by faint, shallow breathing. Then the voices began. Oh, I'd started as garbled noise over the radio, but soon I could make out words like, "Let us in," "We're waiting," "Let us in." The chant repeated, growing louder until it drowned out every other sound. I unplugged the radio, but the voices didn't stop. During a storm, I climbed the tower, hoping the light would keep whatever it was at bay. As I reached the top, I saw them. Figures. In the mist. Dozens of them. They surrounded the cabin, their forms indistinct but wrong. Long limbs, heads that twisted at unnatural angles. One reached out, pressing a hand against the tower's base. It left behind a smear dark and oily that refused to fade. The power failed, the lights went out. I stayed at the top until dawn, clutching a wrench and staring into the fog. When morning came, the figures were gone, but the smear remained. I tried calling for help, but no one believed me. They blamed isolation and stress. Last night the knocking returned. This time it came with a voice, low and guttural. "You can't keep us out forever." Now, the mist is creeping closer, thicker than I've ever seen. The power's out, the radio is dead, and I can hear them moving beneath the tower. Their whispers are blending with the wind, growing louder. They're coming, and I don't know how long I can keep them out.